Someone, at some point in your life, sat you down, maybe a parent, a teacher, a counselor, and told you to pick one thing. Pick your passion. Choose your lane. Commit. And if you couldn't? If your mind kept wandering into other territories, technology 1 month, writing the next, then psychology, then design, then something else entirely, you were given a quiet, crushing label. Unfocused. Scattered. A jack of all trades, master of none. Maybe you internalized it. Maybe you spent years trying to squeeze yourself into a single career box. And maybe, no matter how hard you tried, it never quite fit. Here's what nobody told you: the box was built for someone else. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not afraid of commitment. You might simply be what researchers, career theorists, and organizational psychologists are now calling M-shaped, a person with not one deep area of expertise, but several. Multiple peaks of mastery, connected by a broad foundation of curiosity. And that is not a flaw. It might be one of the most valuable cognitive architectures a human being can have. Think about your brain for a moment. Not as a muscle you need to discipline, but as a network, millions of nodes firing, connecting, building pathways. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on what you consistently engage with. Every skill you learn doesn't just add information, it builds new neural architecture. New roads between neighborhoods of thought that didn't previously connect. Now imagine what happens when you build those roads across multiple domains. This is where the M-shaped career model comes in. In the 1980s, McKinsey began talking about T-shaped professionals, people with depth in one field and breadth across others. One peak, wide base. That was the ideal. For a while, it worked. But the world got more complex. And a new model emerged, first the pie shape, 2 deep specialties, then the M-shape, 3 or more vertical peaks of genuine expertise, all supported by that same horizontal breadth. The M-shaped model describes those rare individuals who possess a broad understanding of various domains alongside deep specialization in 3 or more areas. The letter M isn't just a metaphor. It's a map of how your mind actually works, if you let it. Think of it this way. Most people build a telescope, one lens, extreme focus, incredible depth in one direction. It's powerful. It's necessary. The world needs telescopes. But you? You've been building something different, whether you knew it or not. You've been building a radar system. Something that scans across frequencies, that picks up signals others miss, that notices patterns between things that seem completely unrelated. A designer who also understands code. A psychologist who also speaks the language of business. A musician who understands neuroscience. These aren't distractions from a career. They are the career, a career that doesn't have a job title yet because it's ahead of its time. Here's the thing that mainstream career advice never mentions: your curiosity was never a mistake. It was a survival mechanism. For most of human history, the most valuable members of a tribe weren't the ones who could do one thing brilliantly. They were the ones who could track animals and read weather patterns and negotiate with neighboring groups and tell stories that held the community together. Breadth wasn't scattered. It was strategic. Multipotentialites, those whose interests span multiple fields, have existed as long as human societies. While their strengths are not always appreciated in post-industrial capitalist societies, there have been times throughout history when being well-versed in multiple disciplines was considered the ideal. Leonardo da Vinci didn't apologize for painting and studying anatomy and designing flying machines. He was simply a person whose radar was too wide for one frequency. The word for that, historically, was polymath. Today, we call it a problem. The Industrial Revolution changed everything. Factories needed specialists. People who could do one thing, fast, reliably, repeatedly. The educational system was rebuilt around that model. Choose a major. Pick a track. Stay in your lane. And the psychological cost? Researchers call it overchoice syndrome, hesitation and distress when faced with many viable career options and outstanding skills in multiple areas. For M-shaped people, it doesn't feel like abundance. It feels like being paralyzed at an intersection with no traffic lights. The modern economy then added another layer of pressure, a personal branding. You're told to have a niche. A clear message. One audience. One LinkedIn headline that captures everything you are in 6 words. But you are not 6 words. You are a whole library. So what do you do with this? First, stop treating your breadth as something to apologize for, and start treating it as a design problem to solve. When multipotentialites are supported and encouraged to embrace their diverse skills and experiences, they are able to tap into strengths like idea synthesis, rapid learning, adaptability, and big-picture thinking. The ability to pull from multiple domains and connect them isn't scattered thinking, it's the rarest kind of creative intelligence. Second, find the intersections. Your M-shape has multiple peaks, yes. But notice where those peaks touch the same ground. A person who is deeply skilled in both data science and human behavior isn't 2 people crammed into one body. They are a new kind of professional that neither field alone could produce. Third, don't build your career linearly. Build it laterally first, then vertically. Let curiosity take you wide before it takes you deep. Each new domain you explore isn't a detour. It's another vertical bar being drawn into your M. And finally, be patient with the world catching up. The job titles that describe you don't fully exist yet. That's not your failure. That's your timing. There's an old philosophical idea that some people are foxes, they know many things, and others are hedgehogs, they know one big thing deeply. For centuries, the hedgehog was celebrated. Safe. Legible. Easy to place. But we are living in a moment of radical complexity. Climate, technology, psychology, culture, they are all bleeding into each other. The problems ahead don't respect disciplinary borders. And so the quiet, curious person who has always felt a little too wide for one box? Who has 3 different passions and can't choose just one? Who has been told their whole life that they lack focus? Maybe that person isn't lost. Maybe that person is exactly what this moment was waiting for. You are not a jack of all trades. You are a bridge, built across disciplines, across languages, across ways of seeing. And bridges, it turns out, are what everything eventually depends on.